Hey, this is the Review Junkie, and today I'll be reviewing the new suspense thriller Missing. As always, my review will be illustrated and the artwork is done by myself. And if you like movies, art, and comic books, please hit that subscribe button because all my reviews are hand drawn, and I'd like to get to 1,000 subscribers soon so my channel can be official. This movie stars Storm Reed, Nia Long, Tim Griffin, Daniel Henney, and Ken Leung, and it's directed and co-written by Nicholas Johnson and Will Merrick. This is a non-spoiler review, so everything I discuss will have been shown in the trailer. Absolutely no spoilers. I'll tell you briefly about the plot, the characters, my pros and cons, final thoughts, and if this is worth checking out at your local movie theater. Okay, so January is shaping up to be way better than expected. First, the movie Playing with Gerard Butler is great, and that was just pure action, and now this. And don't get me started on Megan. Man, was that the biggest letdown ever, or what? You want to see a PG-13 thriller done right? Then this is it. This film has more twists and turns than a spiral notebook. I loved every creepy minute as all the madness and uncertainty of everything kept unfolding and unraveling bit by bit. Now, this movie really shocked and surprised me. I was thinking it would be average at best, but ended up being blown away. And it's actually one of the few sequels that surpasses the original. Alright, so plot-wise, Storm Reed plays June, and don't you just love how her name is a combination of two Fantastic Four superheroes? Sue Storm and Reed Richards, the Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic. You just know her parents deliberately named her after them, so every time you say her name, you think about the Fantastic Four. Okay? Okay. So June's mom goes on vacation in Colombia with her new boyfriend and suddenly goes missing the day she's supposed to return. June picks her up at the airport, but she's a complete no-show. So she decides to take matters into her own hands and starts to do an investigation of her own with everything she has at her disposal. She does initially start off working with the authorities in Colombia, and we all know authorities are as slow as a turtle, so she decides doing it independently is better than sitting and waiting around. As her search for the two missing people continues, the mystery and reveals start to quickly come to the surface one by one. Now, whodunit murder mystery suspense thrillers are one of my favorite genre of films, so I was actually looking forward to this, and everyone behind the scenes to the actors just got this one right. Now, my first pro are the performances. This is pretty much Storm's film, and she is in over 90% of it. It's highly focused on her as she takes us along on this abduction journey to find the truth. To me, she is your average 18-year-old with a one track mind to party and be rebellious, but there were actually several emotional scenes, and she did a good job of pulling you in with her performance. You really feel invested in her journey, and you feel the weight of everything from her stress to feeling defeated, and if there will ever be a light at the end of the tunnel. She carries this whole film on her shoulders and does it without any issues. I also like how resourceful she is, and they show us everything that she's doing. The thought behind her logic was well done and intuitive because I think most people would naturally go that route as well if they were in the same situation. The directors were also clever in how they made the audience care for the supporting cast through text messages and video clips on apps that June finds during her research. This includes the relationship she starts with a man in Colombia, helping her solve all the clues, and I really like their friendship together. You really find yourself cheering her on because of how intelligent she is. Next, the atmosphere in this movie is also spot on. The directors did a great job of creating suspense and tension so well. The tone was executed flawlessly here. Just from the opening scene alone, one can sense something isn't what it seems, and there's just something waiting to explode. And through each act of the film, that suspense keeps building and building and going up a notch and then another notch until everything just pops. Because that was so well done, one can really feel the stakes involved. Also, the placement of every clue in this film is so meticulously done. There is something that happens in the opening scene, and all the clues are actually already there because you think it's from a specific perspective, but then during the final act, when the big reveal comes out, it's from a completely different perspective. I thought that was rather clever because the answers were already there from the very beginning. You just had to look carefully. Now, the film does follow some of the same beats as the first movie because it's about a missing person again, slash kidnapping, disappearance, etc., and it's all confined to a laptop webcam. But all the folks behind the scenes were able to keep it fresh and inventive, and there are tons of tense scenes throughout that really kept you on your toes. I felt this movie had a way better third act execution in the final reveal, where the original Searching film from 2018 kind of didn't give you the pow and wow one would normally expect. This one had stronger aha moments versus the first one. Next are the reveals in this film. All of them were ultra juicy with a capital J. It was one reveal after another. They were all pretty shocking, and it keeps you on your toes and on the edge of your seat as you yourself try to put the pieces together to see if you can solve it before the actual true reveal is let out of the bag. And every time you think you have it, something else happens and it goes in an opposite direction, nonstop U turns. There's also an extremely intense scene where June is investigating and recording footage on a smartphone, and the way it was filmed and edited had me sweating and white knuckling it through. Extremely well edited. And when the final reveal happens, the people sitting behind me got up and yelled, "I knew it!" And I was so jealous because I wish I knew it. Okay? Okay. Now, I don't have any cons for this film, but there are certain things that happen, and maybe it was filmed and edited out of the film, but Storm's character does do odd things that I think normal people just wouldn't do. Not to give anything away, but if I was at the airport and my family member was a no show, I know what I would do next. And maybe she did do that, and it was just deleted from the film, so that is one thing that I found to be odd. And with a film like this, there is definitely a level of suspension of disbelief that has to be take place here. And for example, there was one scene early on involving a password, and I even figured it out. So I don't know how June couldn't figure it out. And as intelligent as they make June to be, they also make her seem very sloppy during some of her research scenes. Lastly, I'm a huge Nia Long fan, and it was so nice to see her back on the big screen again. But because of the film's entire framework is done through webcam and iPhone chats, instant messages, and her computer, we don't get a lot of her in the film, and that was a bit of a letdown. But I think with this type of story, that was to be expected. So this brings me to my final thoughts, and this movie gets a high 9 out of 10 from me. This is why we go to the movies. It's to be entertained, and this movie is the epitome and definition of entertainment. This is a big green light from me because of the lead's amazing performance, the well crafted execution, and the endless twists and turns that kept getting rolled out bit by bit. If you want endless suspense and thrills, this is it. Don't even watch the trailer. Go in completely blind and enjoy. Now, support your local movie theaters and see this on the big screen where it's meant to be seen. Now, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you like, please hit subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. Hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share this with your friends. Thanks for checking out my review. Hope you enjoyed it. And leave your comments below on whether you like the film or not. And I hope the pictures put a smile on your face.